Hey fam, Master Coach G here, thriving after 50, mind, body, soul. And in this week's episode, we are uncovering quality of life and what it really means after 50. What I discovered is that some people are living longer, but not living better. And what I mean by that is that they're not taking care of their health so that their quality of life is great and they can continue to do things for themselves. That's what we're going to be talking about today. This is Master Coach G, and I will see you on the inside. Hey fam, Master Coach G here, thriving after 50, mind, body, soul. And in this week's episode, we are uncovering quality of life and what it really means after 50. I think it is definitely a subject worth talking about. Of course, since I am over 50. What I'm finding is that too many people are living longer, but not living a better quality of life. So on today's episode, I want to let's talk real talk about quality of life. Not just how long you live, but how well you're living. And are you thriving or just surviving? These things are something I believe is definitely worth the conversation, because I am very thankful that I am 67 and that I go to the gym 5 days a week. Wednesday is my day off, which is a day that I usually do my recording for my podcast, and Saturday is my day of rest. So I think it's important that we take care of ourselves so we can have the quality of life that we desire. I desire to go to the gym 5 days a week. So my quality of life allows me to be able to do that. So what you should understand is that I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving, because I get the opportunity to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm not restricted at all. You know, of course, I could do 6 days if I wanted to. But right now I'm in cruise control. I got cruise control going on. So, I'm not trying to compete. I'm not trying to, outdo anybody. I'm just going to maintain good health. And I'm going to keep my bones strong and my muscles strong and my mental strong. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I make it a point to go. And I'm just thankful that we can. So that is a part of quality of life, because that's what I want to do, to be able to keep my mental stable and keep my bones and my muscles strong. So that's what I desire. So my quality of life allows me to be able to continue to do that. So I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you are restricted from doing that there was a time that you could do, that you enjoy, something that you actually enjoy, whether it's gardening, walking outside, biking, swimming, whatever that thing is for you. I want you to think about that. You enjoyed it. You felt good when you did it. You were happy. It was almost like your happy place. What is it that you are missing from your life that you can't do anymore? Regardless of what is from, whether it's an illness or injury, what is that thing? I want you to think about that during this broadcast, because that's affecting your quality of life. Okay. So what does quality of life really means once you hit 50 and beyond? So some real truth about what it takes to feel good physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And all those things matter. All those things are a part of our quality of life. So we have to be concerned with those 4 elements. So I'll share where most people get it wrong at. Okay. Especially about aging. And, so let me tell you how I turned my own health around, because I think it's important that you know that I did that without meds, without surgery, without dieting, without, any injections, without pills. I did not become healthy and to the point that I am right now, because I am probably healthier now than I was when I was 40 years old. And I'm just going to keep it real. My blood pressure is 117/74. It doesn't get any more perfect than that for a woman that's 67 years old. It just does not. I know that my range is that of a 40-year-old person, but that's my quality of life. So the way I turned my whole health around, because what happened was I went to the doctor because I had acid reflux, and I had been dealing with it and dealing with it and dealing with it and dealing with it. I did enough research to know that it was really from my weight and just not being healthy. At that point in time, I was 237 pounds. So I went to the doctor just to see if I can get some kind of relief, because I needed something immediately. And I know that, medication will do that. Even though I'm not a pharmaceutical type of person, I will take it for a minute and then do lots of detoxing. But anyway, when I went there, I discovered that I had high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, high A1C, and I was 120 pounds overweight. So what I did was I sat in my car when I left out the office. First of all, let me say this. The doctor told me that I could walk out the door and have a massive heart attack or stroke at any time. At any time. There was no warnings. I'm just talking about just out of here, So I sat in my car and I cried, and I'm like, you know what? I had just gotten married, only been married like 5 years. I did not want to become disabled because my husband didn't sign up for all that. And so I knew that I wanted to get healthy, I knew that I had to have a lifestyle change. It just could not be taking medication or dieting or, injections. It had to be a lifestyle change. And so I was very adamant about that. And even though the doctor wanted to put me on medication for the high blood pressure, high A1C, high cholesterol, and I understand why, because I was at risk. But I got in the car, I cried, and I prayed, and I told God, I said, if you give me an opportunity to get this right and you show me exactly what I need to do, I will do it to the letter. And I promise you, you will never have to worry about this again in my life. And I prayed that prayer, and I got home and I told my husband, and I just started walking because I really just wanted to see God. I felt like you created my body. You know more about my body than anybody. You know more about my body than I know. You know more about my body than the doctor knows. So I'm going to depend on you to give me what I need to be able to fix this. I don't want to put a Band-Aid on it. I don't want to treat the symptoms. I need all of this totally 100% eliminated from my life. That's what I needed. Anything less than that was totally unacceptable. I'm talking about no high blood pressure, no diabetes, no high cholesterol. I didn't want none of it. And I didn't want to manage it. I didn't want to treat no symptoms. I needed it gone. That was my goal. I was not going to accept anything less than that. So I walked and I prayed. The very first day that I got that news, I went home and I told my husband. And we just started walking. I didn't know what else to do. I just said, you know what, I'm going to walk and pray. So I started walking. Well, we started walking, and we was walking and praying. And first we just started talking about it, and then we just started praying. And next thing you know, we got into a season of worship, and we got so far away from where we lived at the time that we saw a sign on the side of the road, and the sign said 15 miles from where we came from, which was a city called Rockwall, Texas. And so I looked at him, he looked at me, I'm like, we walked 15 miles? But what really hit hard was we had to walk 15 miles to get back because we didn't have no cell phone, we didn't have no Uber, we didn't have no Lyft, we didn't have none of that. So in order for us to get back home, guess what we had to do? We had to walk back home. So we walked back and we prayed and we walked and we talked and we walked and we prayed. And that's what we did all the way back. So that first day we walked 30 miles, and it was unintentional, but because I was determined that I was going to seek God on this journey, that I was not going to, be left alone to do this, because I had no idea where to start. I didn't even know. So I just started walking. But my quality of life at that time was absolutely horrible. That's the reason why I'm telling you this, because imagine continuing to live, and some of you may still be living with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and so on. Some of you may be still be living with that. And I get it. And you're on medication. And you've been on medication for a number of years, but you still have high blood pressure. Because you're settling for high blood pressure. You don't have to live with high blood pressure. And I know people say, oh, it's hereditary, it runs in my family. Nope. Nothing runs in your family. Nothing. Now, I know that some things are in your DNA. I get that. I'm not disputing that. Don't hear that. But what I'm saying is a lot of that stuff is passed down, not in a good way. It's like, let me give you an example. Okay, I go to the gym 5 days a week. My daughter's just getting over an injury, but before her injury, she was in the gym 5 to 6 days a week. My grandson is in the gym 5 to 6 days a week. So you see how what I'm passing on? I'm passing on health and wellness. They're aware of what they eat. They get plenty of supplements, plenty of vitamins, plenty of sleep, they get all the things that they need. But I pass that on to them. So it's just like, if you're used to sitting down, eating a big meal with your family, and it's something you've done since you was a child, and that's what you're going to do as an adult. And I get it, unless you have a lifestyle change. But what you're doing is you're putting yourself at risk for the diabetes and the high blood pressure and the high cholesterol. And then now your quality of life is going to be affected, because you got to get on medication, certain things that you can and can't do. You got to go to the doctor, but you want to eliminate that so that you can have a great quality of life. Now, am I saying that there's things that I can still do at 67 that I did at 37? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, because, when I was 37, I wasn't overweight at that time. But if I go back 12 years ago when there was a lot of things that I couldn't do. My quality of life was very limited. So when I discovered that my quality of life was limited and my life was at risk, I knew I had to do something. So, we all deserve to be able to wake up with energy and joy and peace, and not taking any pills or any pain medication, or feel like we're under any pressure to do that. So what I want to do is I want to, unpack, explore in this episode why our quality of life matters after 50. Okay. Like I said, people are living longer, but they're not living a good quality of life. Okay. And it's just not enough. Seriously, when you look at, older people, because when I look at, my grandparents raised me, but when I look at when I was growing up and I look at my grandparents, they were like the Energizer Bunny, They were constantly on the go. We had gardens and grapevines and strawberry patches and watermelon and cantaloupe. You know what I'm saying? So we had to plant all that stuff, and then we had to preserve it and put it in the freezer. So, there was a lot that went into that. But, sick, I never saw them sick. The quality of life was amazing. My grandmother raised over 3 generations, 3.5 generations of children. Her own, her grand, and her great-grandchildren. You know why? Because her quality of life allowed her to be able to do that. My grandfather worked forever because his quality of life allowed him to be able to do that. My grandfather died at 109. His quality of life, even at 109, was still really good. Of course, he was a little forgetful, but hey, at 109, of course, your brain is not going to work like it did when you was 25. I get that. And yes, I am a little forgetful here and there and stuff, but you know what, guess what? Thank God it has not affected my quality of life. So when you can turn your life around and enhance and improve, what you're doing and how you're doing it, you'll see that there's a possibility. And and I always say that there's 4 major things that really helps. Is the foundation, that's the stability of good health, and we all do it, and we do it every single day, not as efficiently as we should, and you know the 4 things, because every episode I'm talking about them. That's hydration, sleep, our diet, and exercise. That will never change. That's going to always be the foundation. And I don't care how fancy things get. I don't care nothing about AI. I don't care about all that. Because guess what? AI can't do those things for you. And AI may be great in its own right. And hey, I'm not trying to take nothing from it. Hey, I use it myself. But what I'm saying is, these are the things that we do on a daily basis. All we got to do is do them more efficiently. If we change and have a mindset shift, then everything is going to change. Okay? Our habits are going to change. The things that we do and how we do them is going to change. So let's talk about what it really means. Let's just talk about what quality of life really means. It's not just the absence of disease. It's energy, purpose, peace of mind, connection, relationships, and joy. That's what quality of life consists of. It's not just one thing. Yes, it is surrounding your health, but you know what? We have peace is important. Our energy level is important. Our purpose in life is important. Our relationships, our connections, our joy, all those things are important, and they all play a part in our quality of life. Because if we don't have no peace of mind, that's disturbing your quality of life. Because guess what? Not having peace of mind eventually starts to affect your body. Okay? So yes, absolutely. So I asked you a question earlier, and that was, what is it that you used to do that you really miss in your life, that your quality of life will not allow you to do anymore? Is that something that you've been thinking about as I've been going through this episode? And here's another question. When's the last time you felt truly good in your body and in your mind and in your soul? We can't leave that out, because they all work together. So when was the last time you truly felt good in your mind, body, soul? Good question, huh? That's a question you should ask yourself, because all those things are connected to your quality of life. All 3 of them. Okay, so let me share some core pillars that we all live by every single day. Okay, our physical health, which includes our energy, mobility, sleep, and digestion. Our mental clarity, less stress, and being able to control our emotions. To a certain degree, I know that, we can't, but we can definitely regulate them. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be mindful of that. Our purpose and our passion is doing what lights us up. That's a part of our quality of life. When you get to live your purpose, your quality of life is it's like a whole nother level. A whole nother level. Your relationships and your connections is who you surround yourself with. Who is in your circle that brings life, that speaks life, that's living life. And even though life may be lifing sometimes, and it may seem like, we're just kind of like overwhelmed, just, we got to pay attention to, who's in our circle, and who's aware of any type of shift that we may make, the slightest little shift, I think that when you especially people that are close to you, when you know them and you can read them and you can tell when something is off. And I think it's really important for us to be able to know that. So yeah, our circle of people really matters. And our spiritual alignment, now that right there, We got to be grounded in our spiritual alignment. But we have to be spiritually aligned, because that's where our peace and our faith is that's the domain for that. So that's why we have to be in alignment. Okay. So here are some of the common pitfalls that are out there after 50, once you hit that 50 mark. Okay. Settling into survival mode. Like you have an illness like high blood pressure that could be eliminated by diet and exercise and hydrating and sleep. It can be eliminated with those things if you do those very effectively, okay? But you're in survival mode, and survival mode is that you're in a panic because you have high blood pressure, so you're going to take the medication, and you're going to settle for taking the medication versus doing something about it. That's being in settling for survival mode, and believing that getting worse is just a part of it. You're basically saying, hey, this is what it is, and I'm going to live with it. Because you just believed that, hey, this is what it is. And it doesn't have to be what it is, okay? Over-relying on meds versus lifestyle. You rely more on the medication versus getting out, taking a 30-minute walk every day. To see that will improve your quality of life. If you're able to walk, that is. I'm not taking anything for granted. I know some people even at my age that can't really get around, and I understand that. But if you're able to do that before your quality of life starts to diminish, you should get out and start doing some things, or else you can continue to rely on the meds versus improving your quality of life, making it a lifestyle versus the medication. Okay. With a few minor shifts, doesn't take much. You just start off small. Hey, that's why you need to be in touch with me. I'm telling you, you need to reach out to me so that I can help you with this. Okay? And you can do that without any pills, without any surgery, without any dieting. It's just a matter of doing it and being consistent, improving your habits, developing good habits, creating a routine. That's what gets you to where you need to be at. All right. So, that's why I share my story, because I wanted you to know that it's possible. It's been 10 years for me. Actually a little bit over 10 years since I've maintained good health. 10 years. Haven't been going back and forth. Haven't been seesawing. None of that. None of that. Haven't been on medication ever, really. I mean, they've written me prescriptions, but I don't take it. So are you managing your life, or is it, or are you mastering it? If you're managing it, that means you're taking medication, you're not doing anything, you're just basically just kind of getting by day to day. But if you're mastering it, then you're doing what I'm doing, which is out, being active, getting some exercise in, getting my sleep, make sure that I'm hydrated. You will be making sure that you do all those things. Okay, so let me give you a few tips before I get out of here to improve your quality of life. And, of course, I'm going to start with the 4 simple core principles that are the foundation to our good health and wellness. You can't get away from it. Exercise, sleep, hydration, and our diet. Okay, we got to stay hydrated. Okay, if you start off in the morning with a morning ritual with getting, hydrating your body, you're good to go. Okay, hydration helps you to eliminate the toxins that we put in our bodies every single day. And we do put toxins in our bodies and on our bodies every day. So hydration is important, okay? So let's make sure that we are doing that. Make sure that you're getting a minimum of 7 hours of sleep every night. Minimum. That has to be the minimum, okay? And watch what you eat. I'm not telling you to go vegan or vegetarian. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying pay attention to what you eat and how much you're taking in. Okay? I would highly recommend that you definitely look at supplements. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we have to understand that the earth is depleted of its nutrients because the farmers are just constantly, planting and growing and harvesting. And so the land doesn't have any time to replenish itself. So there's a lot of nutrients that we're not getting from our food. So I highly recommend supplementation, because taking supplements on a daily basis will give you the things that you're missing from your food. Okay. Definitely that. Like I said, get your minimum of 7 hours of sleep. Stay hydrated, half of your body weight in ounces. Okay, so if you weigh 150 pounds, you should be drinking 75 ounces of water every single day, 7 days a week. Okay, so if you weigh 100 pounds, you should be drinking 75 ounces of water every day. If you're not, then you're not getting the hydration that you need, and your body is not going to function at its fullest capacity. Okay. Exercise, just do a little something. I don't care if you're just walking through your house, just do it 4 or 5 times, just do something. I know this one lady, I think she was like in her 90s, and she lost over 100 pounds just walking in her house. Yeah, it took her some time, but guess what? She started, but her quality of life improved. And the thing is that losing the weight was one thing, but knowing that I eliminated the high blood pressure, the diabetes, and I never took any medication to do that. I'm just so thankful to God that He showed me what I needed to do. And guess what? And you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing. It's very possible that those things can be eliminated out of your life. It's just a matter of you making up your mind and if you're going to do it. So don't just manage life, master your life. Okay? You be the master over your health. You be the master over your wellness. Okay? Because I want you to choose one thing that improves the quality of your life. And I want you to look at that one thing and do it like your life depended on it. Whatever that is. Look at the one thing that you know you need to do. Whether it's walk, whether it's swim, whether it's, kickboxing, whatever it is. Whatever that thing is. Do something. And do it like your life depends on it. Because that's how you're going to master your health. You're going to master your health if you do that. Hey, that's what I have for you today. I hope that this episode has added value to your life. If it has, please share it with someone that it may be a benefit to as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And so that way every time I drop an episode, you will be notified. But before I get out of here, I got to say thank you to all my listeners around the world, here in the United States, Canada, Australia, Russia Federation, China, Mexico, Belgium, Ireland, South Africa, Brazil, United Kingdom, Germany, France, Bangladesh, Ukraine, Kuwait, India, Hong Kong, Dominican Republic, Philippines, Barbados, Saudi Arabia, Spain, Japan, Netherlands, Pakistan, Indonesia, and Portugal. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me here on Thriving After 50, Mind, Body, Soul. This is Master Coach G, and I will see you on the next level.